My MBS auto mechanic diploma got me in the door at Firestone, but I needed to come up with a plan to ensure my stay. Here is where I will educate some of you misinformed Negroes. The term Uncle Tom is widely misused among black folks as a derogatory term. We apply it to people who are sellouts and are butt kissers. Samuel Jackson character in the Django was a sellout, but he was in no way, shape, or form an Uncle Tom in the true sense of the word. Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of the book Uncle Tom Cabin, was greatly influenced and inspired by the true story of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist, former slave biographer, book An American Slave, which was published in 1846. He wrote the book during a time when the U.S. government prohibited slaves from reading and writing as a means to keep black folks in the dark. How then was Frederick Douglass able to write a book? This, my friend, is where the concept of Uncle Tom was birthed, created, and developed. Frederick owner was in a financial crisis, which ended with Frederick being shipped from Eastern Shore to Essex in Baltimore, Maryland. Young Frederick was approximately between the age of 7 and 8 when this change occurred. He described the transition as a static, pure ecstasy. Life in Essex compared to Eastern Shore was different, like night and day, even for a younger slave like Frederick. It was here at the new master's house that young Frederick was introduced to the alphabets by the new owner's wife. Although his initial learning was halted once his master found out what was happening, it started a burning desire for learning that was not going to be denied. Frederick's master plantation was surrounded by poor, struggling white families who could barely afford to feed their families. Although Frederick's master wasn't rich, they were better off than lots of their neighbors. Frederick's master's wife kept baked bread in the house, and young Frederick had access to the bread. Frederick befriended lots of the poor white kids. He would exchange bread for school lessons with the poor white kids. That is how Frederick learned how to read and write. Uncle Tom wasn't a who, but a what. It wasn't who he was, but what he did. He used endearment and friendliness to attain what was otherwise unattainable, his education, and as a result became the greatest black leader we ever had in America. Nat Turner used endearment to win the trust of white folks by preaching slaves obey your master, and as soon as they weren't around, he preached how Moses led the Hebrews out of Egypt, and as a result, one of the greatest insurrections against slavery this country has ever witnessed. Uncle Tom put some respect on that terminology. Come back and see how I use Uncle Tom at Firestone.